The burning world. Flames roared across the ruined city, turning the sky into a thick, choking haze of smoke. Commander Jack Carter stood at the edge of the wreckage, his boots crunching against shattered glass and scorched metal. His ship had barely survived the descent, and now he was stranded on a dying planet. His comms device crackled with static. A distress signal had led him here, but now there was nothing but fire and silence. The message had been weak, broken. Only a few words had come through. Please, help. They, coming. Jack had heard distress calls before. Most of the time, he ignored them. A mercenary's job wasn't to play hero, but something about this signal had been different. A strange urgency, a desperation that made him change course. And now he was stuck in this hell. The ground trembled beneath him as another explosion ripped through the remains of a once magnificent city. Alien buildings, once tall and gleaming, now lay in ruins. The air was thick with the stench of burning metal and charred flesh. Then he heard it. A weak, broken cry. Jack turned sharply, his pulse quickening. Through the flames and smoke, he spotted a figure trapped under a collapsed structure. He ran forward, coughing as the heat scorched his skin. As he reached the wreckage, he saw her. She was unlike anything he had seen before. A girl, young, alien, and barely clinging to life. Her skin shimmered in shades of deep blue, her silver eyes half closed. Strange, glowing markings ran down her arms, pulsing weakly, as if fading with every breath. She tried to move, but the heavy beams held her down. Jack hesitated. She wasn't human. He didn't know her species, her people, or why she was here. But then she looked at him, and for a moment, fear and pain flashed in her eyes. Jack sighed. Damn it. He wasn't a hero. He wasn't even a good man, but he couldn't just leave her here. Gritting his teeth, he grabbed the metal beams and heaved. The weight was crushing, but he pushed with all his strength. The structure shifted, groaning, and finally, the girl was free. She gasped, coughing violently. Her delicate fingers clutched his arm, but she was too weak to speak. Jack reached into his gear, pulling out a small medical injector. Stay still. He pressed it against her skin, releasing a stimulant. It wouldn't heal her, but it would keep her alive. The girl shook her head weakly. Her lips moved, forming words too soft to hear. Jack leaned closer. What? Her voice was barely a whisper. They want me. For a reason. A cold chill ran down Jack's spine. Before he could ask more, his comms beeped again. A new transmission. This time, a different voice. Deep. Rough. Dangerous. Search the ruins. The girl must not escape. Jack stiffened. He turned his head toward the flames, his sharp eyes scanning the wreckage. Silhouettes appeared in the distance. Tall, armored figures, alien raiders, heavily armed, searching. Jack cursed under his breath. They weren't here by accident. They were hunting her. His grip tightened around his blaster. He didn't know who she was, what she had done, or why these raiders wanted her. But one thing was clear. If they found her, she wouldn't survive. Jack let out a long breath and glanced down at the fragile girl in his arms. Looks like I just got myself into a mess, he muttered. He lifted her up, ignoring the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. Then, without another word, he ran. Behind him, the alien raiders moved closer, their voices sharp, their weapons glowing. The hunt had begun, hunted in the shadows. The flames behind them cast long, flickering shadows as Jack Carter sprinted through the ruins, the unconscious alien girl cradled in his arms. His muscles burned, his lungs screamed for air, but he didn't stop. The sound of heavy boots and alien voices echoed through the wreckage. The raiders were closing in. He didn't know who she was, but the fact that they were willing to burn an entire city to find her meant she was valuable to the wrong people. Jack ducked behind a half-collapsed tower, pressing his back against the scorched metal. The girl, Aria, stirred weakly in his arms, her glowing silver eyes fluttering open. She blinked up at him, confused and barely conscious. "You saved me." Jack glanced down at her, noting the pain in her voice. "Yeah, well, don't make me regret it." Before she could answer, a guttural voice boomed through the air. "Find them." Jack stiffened. The raiders were close. Slowly, he peeked around the edge of the ruined structure. 6 figures moved through the wreckage, their dark armor reflecting the firelight. Their weapons hummed, energy pulsating through the barrels. The lead raider, a hulking brute with a scared face and jagged armor, growled into his comm. "The girl is injured. She won't get far. Search every building." Jack's jaw clenched. He had seen their kind before. Hunters, mercenaries, killers. They weren't here for a rescue. They were here to collect a bounty. And Area was the prize. Jack weighed his options. His ship was damaged, no way off the planet. The city was burning, and more raiders would arrive soon. That left one choice: run, hide, survive. He turned back to Area. "Can you walk?" She winced as she tried to move, gripping his arm for balance. I don't know." Jack exhaled sharply. "We don't have time for I don't know. We need to go." She nodded weakly, forcing herself to stand. Jack grabbed his blaster and scanned the area. There, a narrow alleyway between 2 crumbling structures. It led deeper into the ruins. "Follow me," he whispered. "The chase begins." They moved swiftly, stepping over debris and dodging fallen beams. Jack kept one hand on his blaster, the other steadying Area. Behind them, the raiders spread out. Their movements were quick, efficient. They were professionals. Then one of them stopped. The brute with the scared face sniffed the air, his expression darkening. "They're close." Jack heard the words and cursed silently. These guys could track them by scent. No time to be careful. "Move." Jack grabbed Area's wrist and pulled her forward. They ran into the darkness of the alley, weaving through collapsed buildings. But just as they reached the other side, a blaster shot rang out. Jack barely reacted in time. He tackled Area to the ground as a bolt of plasma blasted past them, melting the wall beside them. They had been spotted. "There," one of the raiders roared. Jack fired back, his blaster sending 2 quick shots into the nearest attacker. One shot hit the alien's shoulder, knocking him back, but the other raiders were already advancing. Area gasped in fear, her hands trembling. "We can't outrun them." Jack reloaded his weapon, cursing under his breath. He was running out of options. Then his eyes landed on something. A collapsed bridge ahead. The gap was wide, but if they could make the jump, they might lose the raiders. Jack looked at Area. "Do you trust me?" She hesitated. Then, slowly, she nodded. Jack grabbed her hand and ran. The raiders saw their plan and opened fire. Blaster shots tore through the air, barely missing them. Jack didn't slow down. He reached the edge of the bridge and jumped. For a moment, there was nothing but air beneath him. Then, impact. His boots hit the other side, the force knocking the breath from his lungs. Area was still midair. Jack reached out. Time seemed to slow as her fingers stretched toward his. Then he caught her. Jack pulled her up just as the raiders reached the edge. The scared brute snarled, his yellow eyes burning with rage. "You can't run forever, human." Jack smirked, gripping his blaster tightly. "Watch me." With that, he and Area disappeared into the ruins, slipping into the shadows. The mystery deepens. They finally stopped inside an abandoned building, hidden beneath the wreckage. Area slumped against a wall, breathing heavily. Jack studied her. "You want to tell me why they're after you?" Area hesitated, her silver eyes full of secrets. Then she whispered, "Because I am the last of my kind, and my blood is worth more than you can imagine." Jack stared at her, realization dawning. This wasn't just a bounty hunt. This was something much, much bigger. and he had just walked straight into the middle of it. The secret she holds. Jack Carter leaned against the cold metal wall of the ruined building, his chest rising and falling with each heavy breath. His pulse pounded in his ears, the echoes of blaster fire still fresh in his mind. Across from him, Aria sat slumped against a rusted pillar, her shimmering blue skin smeared with ash and dried blood. Outside, the alien raiders were searching for them, their guttural voices echoing through the broken city. Jack knew it was only a matter of time before they found this hiding spot. He studied Aria, her silver eyes flickering with exhaustion. His instincts told him she was more than she appeared to be. "You said your blood is valuable," Jack murmured, his voice low. "What does that mean?" Aria hesitated. The way she gripped her arm, as if shielding herself, made it clear that whatever she was about to say was dangerous. She exhaled shakily. "I am the last of the Elith royal bloodline." Jack frowned. Royalty? Didn't think there were still kings and queens out here. She shook her head. "Not like that. My people, we were not conquerors. We were the keepers of something ancient, something powerful." Jack narrowed his eyes. "Go on." Aria swallowed hard. "Deep in the core of my planet, hidden for thousands of years, there is a vault that holds technology beyond anything your species has ever seen." Jack's heart skipped a beat. Advanced alien tech. That was the kind of thing that could make a man rich or get him killed. "So," Jack said carefully, "you're saying these raiders aren't just after you. They're after whatever's inside that vault." She nodded. "But they can't open it. Only someone with Elith blood can." Jack let that sink in. "And since you're the last of your kind, they need me alive," Aria finished. "Or at least, they need my blood." Jack grimaced. That explained why the raiders hadn't simply bombed the city and been done with it. They needed her in one piece. Aria met his gaze. "I don't want to be their key. If they reach the vault, it will mean war across the stars." Jack ran a hand through his messy brown hair, processing everything. He wasn't a hero. He wasn't a savior. He was a survivor, a fighter, a man who did what he had to in order to get by. But now, he was stuck in the middle of something massive, and walking away wasn't an option anymore. The plan to escape. Jack pulled out a small holomap from his wrist device. His ship was wrecked, but he needed a way off this planet. Fast. He zoomed into the map and found something interesting. "Elith vaults," Jack muttered. "You said they're buried deep, right?" Aria nodded. Jack pointed at a set of underground tunnels beneath the city. "This place. What's down there?" Aria's breath hitched. "No one has gone into those tunnels for centuries. My ancestors warned of creatures, things that were left behind from an older time." Jack sighed. "Figures. Nothing's ever easy." The sound of movement outside made them both freeze. The raiders were close. Jack stood up, checking his blaster's energy levels. He had 3 full shots left before he'd need a recharge. Not great. "All right," he said. "Scary monsters or not, the tunnels are our best bet. If we stay up here, those raiders are gonna cut us down eventually." Aria hesitated. "If we go down there, there's no guarantee we'll make it out." Jack grinned. "Yeah. Well, I've made a career out of doing stupid things and surviving." Aria studied him for a moment. Then she nodded. "Then we move now," she whispered. Jack opened the rusted door, peering outside. The alley was clear, for now. He motioned for her to follow. They slipped into the shadows, moving quickly, sticking close to the ruined walls. The air smelled of burning metal and death. But as they reached the tunnel entrance, Jack's instincts screamed at him. Too late. A loud clank echoed through the air. They turned just in time to see a towering figure blocking the exit. A raider. Not just any raider. The leader. He was 7 feet tall, covered in black armor with glowing red veins running across the plates. His face was half covered in a mechanical visor, but his mouth curled into a wicked grin. You really thought you could run?" The raider's voice was like crushed gravel. Jack raised his blaster, but before he could fire, the raider moved faster than anything that size should be able to move. A metallic fist slammed into Jack's chest, sending him flying into a wall. Jack gasped, pain exploding through his ribs. His blaster clattered to the ground. The raider turned to Arya, stepping closer. You are coming with us." Arya pressed herself against the wall, eyes wide with fear. Jack, coughing, forced himself to his feet. His entire body ached, but he wasn't done yet. The raider smirked. "Stay down, human. You are nothing." Jack wiped blood from his lip and grinned through the pain. "Yeah, then why are you afraid of me?" Before the raider could react, Jack lunged forward, grabbing his fallen blaster and firing point-blank into the alien's knee. The raider roared in pain, stumbling backward. Jack didn't hesitate. He grabbed Arya's hand. "Run." They sprinted toward the tunnel, Jack dragging Arya behind him. The raider let out an enraged roar, recovering quickly. He lifted his arm, a pulse cannon charging with energy. Jack shoved Arya ahead. "Go." As they plunged into the darkness of the underground tunnels, Jack barely had time to turn before the pulse blast ripped through the air. And the entrance collapsed behind them. The last thing Jack heard was the raider's furious roar as the rubble sealed them in. Into the depths. Jack groaned, rolling onto his side. Dust and debris rained down around them. The air was thick with stale, ancient smells. Arya coughed. We made it." Jack grinned weakly. "If by made it, you mean trapped underground with possibly worse things waiting for us, then yeah, we made it." Arya looked at the endless darkness ahead of them. Something moved in the shadows. Jack sighed. Fantastic. With no other choice, they stepped forward, deeper into the unknown. The impossible escape. Darkness swallowed them as Jack Carter and Arya moved deeper into the tunnels beneath the ruined city. The air was thick with dust, dampness, and something else, something old. The flickering light from Jack's wrist device cast long shadows on the cracked stone walls, illuminating carvings far older than the war raging above. Behind them, the collapsed tunnel entrance sealed their fate. There was no going back. Arya shivered, hugging herself as she whispered, "This place is cursed." Jack sighed. "Yeah, well, so is the rest of this planet." He checked his blaster. 2 shots left. Not great. Then, a sound echoed through the tunnel. A low, distant clicking. Jack's instincts screamed at him. Something else was down here. He grabbed Arya's wrist and whispered, "No sudden moves. Keep quiet." The tunnel stretched ahead, leading to a massive underground chamber, a graveyard. Jack stopped cold. Skeletons, hundreds of them, lined the walls, scattered across the ground. Some were humanoid, others weren't. "What the hell happened here?" Jack muttered. Arya's face was pale. "My ancestors feared this place. The Aelith never came down here because of the..." Screech. Jack snapped his blaster up. The clicking sound was getting closer. Then, from the shadows above, something moved. A shape detached itself from the ceiling. A long, sinewy body, sharp, clawed limbs clicking against the stone. Its eyes were empty pits, its skin black and ridged. Jack swore under his breath. "Let me guess. That's what you were about to warn me about." Arya barely breathed. "Yes." The creature sniffed the air, then let out a screeching wail. Then, dozens of red eyes appeared in the darkness behind it. Jack groaned. "Oh, come on." The creatures lunged, running for their lives. Jack grabbed Arya and ran. The monsters screeched and crawled after them, moving impossibly fast. Jack fired a shot over his shoulder. The plasma blast hit one of the creatures square in the chest. It shrieked and collapsed, but the others kept coming. 2 shots left. Now 1. Not great, Jack grunted. They reached another tunnel. a narrow stone bridge over a deep chasm. A glowing blue river of energy flowed far below, casting eerie light on the walls. Jack skidded to a stop. The bridge was crumbling, barely holding together. Arya gasped. "We can't cross this." Jack looked behind them. The creatures were closing in. "Yeah, watch me." Without another word, he grabbed her and ran across the unstable bridge. The creatures swarmed after them. Their screeches echoed through the cavern, a sound of pure hunger. Halfway across, the bridge cracked. Jack felt the stone give way beneath him. He pushed Arya forward just as the ground collapsed beneath his feet. He fell. Arya screamed his name. Jack's arms flailed as the chasm swallowed him whole. He caught a metal beam sticking out from the wall, barely stopping himself from dropping into the energy river below. His arms burned as he hung there, suspended over the abyss. "Jack!" Arya's voice echoed above him. She reached for him, but the creatures were still coming. Jack gritted his teeth. "Go. I'll find another way up." Arya hesitated, but then she turned and ran. Jack climbed up the jagged wall, sweat dripping down his face. He reached the top just as one of the creatures leaped at him. Jack twisted, slamming his boot into its skull. The creature shrieked as it tumbled into the glowing abyss below. Jack pulled himself up and took off running. He didn't know where Arya had gone. He didn't know what was ahead, but staying still meant death. The hidden chamber. Jack followed the only open path left, running through the tunnels. He heard the creatures shrieking behind him, their claws scraping against the stone. Then he saw it. A massive door, ancient, covered in glowing symbols, and standing in front of it, Arya. Jack reached her side, panting. "You find yourself in the strangest places, princess." Arya barely heard him. Her eyes were locked on the door. "The vault," she whispered. Jack blinked. "Wait, you mean the vault? The one those raiders are trying to get to?" Arya nodded, her expression unreadable. "Yes, but it should be deeper underground. How did we find it so quickly?" Jack had a bad feeling about this. Maybe someone wanted you to find it. Before Arya could respond, the creatures screamed behind them. Jack turned to see them flooding into the chamber. No more running. A choice of fate. Arya took a deep breath, then pressed her hand to the vault door. The symbols flashed. The entire room shook. The creatures froze, their screeches turning into something different. Fear. Jack watched in shock as the vault door slowly opened. A pulse of golden energy surged outward, making his skin tingle. Then, the creatures backed away. Jack frowned. What the hell is happening? Arya turned to him, her silver eyes glowing. "They were never trying to kill me," she whispered. "They were trying to stop me." Jack stared at her. Then the vault opened fully, and inside, something stirred. Jack's gut twisted. Whatever was in that vault, someone had locked it away for a reason. And now, they had just set it free. The truth about Arya. The vault door groaned open, revealing a massive chamber bathed in golden light. Strange, ancient technology hummed with energy, illuminating symbols far older than any civilization Jack had ever encountered. Jack Carter gripped his blaster tightly, scanning the room. The air inside felt thick, electric, like standing in the eye of a storm. Behind him, the creatures in the tunnels did not follow. They shrieked, hissed, then vanished into the darkness, as if they feared whatever lay beyond the vault's threshold. Jack's instincts screamed at him. This wasn't just a room. It was a tomb. Arya, standing beside him, was breathing hard, her silver eyes glowing faintly. Jack glanced at her. "All right, princess. You want to tell me why those things ran like hell the moment this door opened?" Arya swallowed. "Because they know what's inside." Jack did not like that answer. They stepped inside cautiously. The vault was massive, stretching out in all directions, lined with towering pillars covered in glowing alien glyphs. At the center, a single pedestal held an orb pulsing with blue light. Jack stared. That looks important. Arya stepped forward, her fingers trembling as she reached toward it. Jack grabbed her wrist. Hey, maybe don't touch the ominous glowing artifact in the ancient death chamber. Arya shook her head. You don't understand. This is what they were after. My blood is the key because I am the last of my kind. Jack sighed, already regretting everything. And what happens if you activate it? Arya hesitated. I don't know. Jack groaned. Great, fantastic. Let's just press random buttons and hope the universe doesn't explode. But before he could stop her, Arya pressed her palm against the orb. A pulse of energy surged outward, sending Jack stumbling backward. The entire vault shook, and the symbols on the walls lit up in brilliant golden light. Then, the chamber came alive. The awakening of the vault. The pedestal split open, revealing a holographic projection of an Aelith figure, tall, ethereal, dressed in flowing armor made of pure energy. Jack instinctively raised his blaster. Okay, I am officially done with glowing ghost people. The projection turned to Arya and spoke in a deep melodic voice. Blood of the First, you have returned. Arya's eyes widened. Who are you? The hologram flickered. I am the last record of the Aelith Empire. This vault holds the final gift of our people, a power unlike any in the known galaxy. Jack did not like the sound of that. Define power, because so far, everything in this place screams dangerous superweapon. The projection turned toward him. And yet, you are here, human. A guardian to the bloodline. Jack snorted. I'm not a guardian, just some idiot who didn't run fast enough. The projection ignored him. It gestured toward Arya. Your awakening has begun. The raiders seek this power, but they do not understand it. It was never meant for war. It was meant for salvation. Arya blinked. I don't understand. If it's not a weapon, then what is it? The projection extended a hand, and the orb rose into the air. See for yourself. The orb pulsed, and suddenly, Jack's mind was filled with visions. Visions of the past. He saw the Aelith Empire at its height, golden cities floating among the stars, technology beyond human comprehension. They were a peaceful people, creators of life-giving energy sources that could heal entire planets. Then he saw the war. An ancient enemy had come, something so powerful, so relentless, that even the mighty Aelith could not stand against it. The last of the Aelith sealed their greatest technology in hidden vaults across the galaxy, hoping one day their descendants would return and use it to rebuild. Then the vision snapped back to reality. Jack stumbled, shaking his head. Okay, that was a lot. Arya clutched her chest, her markings glowing brighter than ever. This energy, it's inside me. The hologram nodded. You are the last hope of our people, but your path is not yet chosen. Will you restore our legacy, or will you let it be stolen by those who seek only power? Jack exhaled. Yeah, about that. We have an army of raiders up top who would really love to steal it. As if on cue, a massive explosion rocked the vault. The raiders arrive. Jack turned toward the entrance just as a gaping hole was blasted into the stone wall. From the smoke, the raider leader stepped through, his red glowing cybernetic eye burning with rage. Did you really think you could escape me? The raider growled. Jack groaned. Man, you just don't give up, do you? Behind the leader, dozens of raiders poured in, weapons drawn. The leader's gaze locked onto Arya. We don't need you alive anymore, princess. Just your blood. Jack stepped between them, blaster raised. Yeah. Well, you're gonna have to get through me first. The raider grinned. Gladly. With a single gesture, his soldiers opened fire. The fight for the vault. Jack dived behind a pillar, returning fire. The energy blasts lit up the vault, scorching the ancient stone. Arya clutched the orb, her entire body glowing with golden energy. Her eyes widened as she realized she could control it. Jack took out 2 raiders, but there were too many. They were surrounded. Then, a golden shockwave exploded outward. Jack shielded his eyes as the energy erupted from Area, sending the raiders flying back. The leader barely stayed on his feet, his face twisting in shock. Impossible. Area rose into the air, her markings shining with power. For the first time, she understood. She wasn't just the last of the Elith. She was their rebirth. Jack, still crouched behind cover, peeked up. Okay, that's new. Area turned toward him, her voice calm but powerful. We end this now. Jack grinned. That's what I like to hear. As the raiders regrouped, Jack and Area stood side by side. The final battle for the vault had begun. The final stand. The vault trembled with raw energy, golden light surging from the walls as Area hovered above the battlefield, her silver eyes glowing like twin stars. The raiders hesitated, their weapons still raised, but uncertainty flickered across their faces. Jack Carter crouched behind the remnants of a fallen pillar, his blaster hot in his hands. He had been in a lot of fights, but this was something else entirely. Well, Jack muttered, watching the raiders slowly form a firing line. I don't suppose they'll just run away now. Area floated down beside him, her glowing markings pulsing in time with her breath. No, she said, her voice steady, powerful. They won't stop until either we're dead or they are. Jack exhaled. Great, let's give them a reason to regret it. The raider leader stepped forward, his red cybernetic eye gleaming like a predator in the vault's golden light. His armor, scared and reinforced, barely concealed the enhancements grafted into his body, mechanical augments fused with alien tech. Enough of this, he growled, his deep voice rumbling through the chamber. Kill them both. Take the girl's blood. The moment he gave the order, chaos erupted. The battle for the vault. Blaster fire filled the air. Jack rolled into cover, returning fire with quick, precise shots. One raider went down, then another, but there were too many. Area, standing in the center of the vault, lifted her hands. A pulse of golden energy erupted from her fingertips, forming a barrier just as a volley of plasma shots hurtled toward her. The blasts deflected, ricocheting off the shield and slamming into the walls. Jack peeked over his cover. Okay, I'm officially impressed. Area clenched her fists. I can't hold them off forever. Jack swore under his breath. We need to thin them out. He spotted a crumbling section of the vault ceiling, held together by time and bad luck. If he could take it down, it might bury half the raiders. He ducked low, grabbing a small explosive charge from his belt. Cover me. Area threw out another blast of energy, sending 3 raiders flying backward. Jack sprinted across the open floor, weaving between fire. Blaster shots grazed past him, the heat searing his arm. But he didn't stop. He reached the weak point in the ceiling, slapped the charge against the stone, and primed it. Then he spun around and fired his last blaster shot into the detonator. Boom! The explosion tore through the ceiling, sending tons of ancient stone raining down. Raiders' screams filled the air as half their forces were crushed beneath the debris. Jack dived away just in time, landing hard on his shoulder. Pain shot through his body, but when he looked up, the battlefield had changed. The surviving raiders were stunned, scrambling back. But their leader, he wasn't done yet. The war chief's true power. The raider leader, now standing alone among the wreckage, did not look afraid. Instead, he smiled. Good, he rumbled, flexing his cybernetic fingers. I was hoping this would be a challenge. Then, his armor shifted. Jack watched, wide-eyed, as the plates on the leader's body expanded, revealing glowing veins of raw energy. His mechanical limbs pulsed with power, steam hissing from his joints. Area gasped. He's not just a raider. He's a war chief. Jack wiped sweat from his brow. Fantastic. You got any more bad news, or is that it? The war chief lifted his arm, and a massive blade unfolded from his gauntlet, twice the size of Jack's torso, humming with raw power. Jack's throat went dry. "Oh, that's just great." With blinding speed, the war chief charged. Jack barely had time to react before the ground shattered beneath the force of the incoming strike. He rolled aside, narrowly avoiding the massive blade that carved straight through the stone. Arya threw a burst of golden energy, but the war chief absorbed it, his body drinking in the power like a sponge. Her eyes widened. "My energy, it's making him stronger." Jack gritted his teeth, then stopped giving it to him. A desperate gamble. The war chief swung again, his blade slicing through the air. Jack ducked, but the shockwave from the strike sent him flying backward. He crashed against the pedestal where the ancient orb had been, his vision blurred. Pain roared through his ribs. The war chief loomed over him, his mechanical red eye burning with victory. Jack blinked up at him. "You look real proud of yourself, big guy." The war chief sneered. "You die here, human." Jack smirked. "Yeah. You sure about that?" Then he grabbed the last explosive on his belt and slammed it against the war chief's chest. The leader's eyes widened. Jack grinned. Boom. He kicked off the pedestal, shoving himself backward just as the explosive detonated. The war chief staggered, the blast tearing through his armor. His blade arm shattered, sparks erupting from his body. He roared, struggling to stay upright. Jack didn't give him a chance. He rolled to his feet, grabbed a fallen raider's plasma rifle, and fired directly into the war chief's exposed chest. The shot tore through him. For a moment, the war chief stood frozen. Then he collapsed, motionless. Silence. Jack breathed heavily, lowering the rifle. Arya ran to him, eyes wide. "Jack, are you okay?" Jack wiped blood from his mouth, giving her a lopsided grin. "I've been better, but hey, at least we're alive." Arya stared at the fallen war chief. "It's over." Jack looked around. The remaining raiders had fled, leaving their dead behind. The vault was safe. He exhaled, finally allowing himself to relax. "Yeah, it's over." Or at least, he thought it was. Then the hologram reappeared, its voice solemn. "Final. You have protected the vault. But the choice remains." Jack frowned. "What choice?" Arya turned back toward the pedestal. The orb still pulsed with power. She looked at Jack, her expression serious. "The vault's energy can save entire worlds, or it can be hidden away forever. I must decide whether to awaken it or to destroy it." Jack ran a hand through his messy hair. "No pressure, huh?" Arya hesitated. Then she reached toward the orb and made her choice. The reward beyond imagination. The vault was silent, save for the low hum of energy emanating from the orb. The golden glow pulsed rhythmically, as if waiting for Arya's command. Jack Carter stood beside her, one hand resting on his blaster, the other gripping his sore ribs. The battle had taken its toll. His body ached, his vision was slightly blurred, and he was running on sheer adrenaline. But right now, all that mattered was the decision Arya was about to make. Arya stared at the orb, her silver eyes reflecting its radiant light. Jack exhaled. "So, no pressure or anything, but you're about to decide the fate of an ancient civilization, and possibly the galaxy. You sure you're up for that?" She didn't answer immediately. Her fingers trembled slightly as they hovered above the pulsating artifact. A lifetime of memories flashed through her mind. Her people's destruction, her escape, the truth hidden within the vault. She turned to Jack. "If I activate it, this technology could heal planets, restore entire civilizations. But if the wrong hands take it..." Jack sighed. "Then we just fought off those raiders for nothing." A tense silence stretched between them. Finally, Arya closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and pressed her palm against the orb. The effect was instant. A surge of golden energy exploded outward, washing over the vault like a solar flare. Jack staggered back, shielding his eyes as the entire chamber came alive. The birth of a new age. The walls of the vault shifted, rearranging themselves, revealing hidden passageways and ancient machines awakening after thousands of years of silence. Glowing symbols floated in the air, spinning around Area as if recognizing their lost queen. Jack felt the very air change, the weight of history, of something far beyond human understanding, pressing down on him. Then, a voice echoed through the chamber. The legacy of the Aelith is reborn. The orb rose from the pedestal, expanding, shifting, until it became something else entirely, a swirling core of pure energy, containing the knowledge and power of an entire lost empire. Area gasped. It's alive. Jack, still catching his breath, stared at the transformation. All right, that's new. The true power of the vault. The holographic guardian reappeared, its glowing form more solid than before. The vault is now active. Its technology will spread across the galaxy, restoring what was lost. But with this awakening comes danger. The war chief was not the only one seeking this power. Jack felt a headache coming. You mean there are more of them? The hologram's form flickered. Many factions seek the knowledge of the Aelith. Some will come in peace. Others will come with war. Area's expression darkened. We must protect it. The Vault Guardian nodded. And so, the choice remains, will you keep this power for yourselves, or share it with the universe? Jack rubbed his temples. We'd just fought an entire army to keep it out of bad hands, and now you're telling us to open the doors to the whole galaxy. Area looked at him, eyes full of uncertainty. Jack sighed. Listen, Princess, I'm just a guy with a gun and a bad habit of getting into trouble. But I've been around long enough to know one thing. Power is dangerous. If you keep it locked away, people will come looking for it. If you share it, you control the story. Area considered his words carefully. Then, slowly, she nodded. She turned back to the orb and whispered, let the knowledge be shared, but let it be protected. The orb flared, sending a final surge of energy through the vault. The reward beyond imagination. As the vault settled, something incredible happened. From the shifting walls, hidden compartments opened, revealing ancient Aelith artifacts, weapons, and technology. Jack's eyes widened. Jackpot. Area touched one of the floating devices. It responded instantly, its blue circuits lighting up as it connected to her energy. She turned to Jack. This technology, it could change everything. It could rebuild worlds. Jack smirked. Yeah, or buy me a hell of a nice starship. Area laughed softly, but there was a deeper meaning in her gaze. Then, as if sensing his thoughts, the Vault Guardian spoke again. To the guardian of the bloodline, it said, turning to Jack, a reward for your service. The ground shifted once more, revealing something beneath the pedestal. A ship. Jack's jaw nearly dropped. Not just any ship. A sleek, advanced Aelith starfighter, untouched by time, its silver hull shimmering under the vault's light. It was unlike anything Jack had ever seen before. Fast, powerful, and completely unique. Jack let out a low whistle. Well, now we're talking. Area smiled. It seems the vault recognizes you as part of this journey. Jack chuckled. Yeah, guess that means I'm stuck with you for a while. She tilted her head. You could leave, now that you have what you came for. Jack looked at the ship, then back at Area. And for once, he didn't feel like running. He grinned. Nah, someone's got to make sure you don't get yourself killed. Area smiled. Then let's make history. The journey ahead. As the vault sealed itself behind them, Jack and Area boarded their new ship. The cockpit lit up as they entered, and within moments, the engines hummed to life. Jack settled into the pilot's seat, hands running over the controls. All right, let's see what this baby can do. Area sat beside him, looking out at the burning remains of her world. Jack nudged her. You okay? She nodded. This is just the beginning. The galaxy will know the Aelith have returned. Jack smirked. Yeah, and I have a feeling it's gonna get real interesting." With that, he powered up the ship, and together, they soared into the stars, toward a future neither of them could have imagined.